This is News 8 Now, this morning.
We encourage all of you voters, independent voters, voters who haven't made up their minds yet, voters who are open-minded to receive this new information, voters in the middle, we are speaking to you. What can you do about it? You can vote.
They both have a lot of experience. They both are considered pretty evenly handed, and essentially, party does not mean that much when you have a situation like that.
So we'll have songs about, anywhere from crickets to birds chirping, but also about surviving storms and the trees everywhere. And so, we have some music that's all the way written back in the Renaissance in the 1400s, but then we have music that was as contemporary as written about 5 years ago. So a huge variety of forms.
Those are some of the stories we've got for you today. Good morning from News 8 Now. I'm Emily Haugen. I'm in for Jordan this morning, hanging out with Derek.
Hey, good to have you back again, Emily.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor. Well, it's been surprisingly warm these past couple of days. Even this morning, I was like, is it summer? But it's November. What the heck?
Yeah,
Derek, tell us why.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it's amazing what a south wind will do right here, especially at this time of the year, pumping in that warm air, which is exactly what we have here right now across the Coulee region. And also, things, though, are looking pretty quiet and calm with temperatures at 56 degrees in La Crosse, 40 degrees currently in Sparta, 51 in Viroqua. But look at Boscobel, though. They're currently at 35 degrees. Prairie du Chine's at 46. Overall, huge difference, 10 to 20 degrees of a warmer difference this morning around the Coulee region. And your day planner today does show that we will be looking clear here throughout the majority of the day, really, with temperatures holding into the 50s through 9, 60s by 11. And then between around, let's say 1 to 5, that's probably when it's going to be the warmest here today, with high temperatures picking up into those low to mid 70s, with still mainly sunny conditions as well before we start to turn mainly cloudy as we head towards the early evening hours here later today, Emily. We'll talk about the weather forecast in just a bit.
Got to take advantage of the sunshine, right?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Derek. The Eau Claire Police Department is asking for the public's help in finding a missing woman. 28-year-old Jennifer Weidinger has not been seen since last Thursday, the 27th. She was last seen in the Barstow Street area of downtown Eau Claire. Police say she might have her hair dyed blue or green. If anyone has any information, they're asked to contact the police department. You can also submit a tip to the Eau Claire County Crime Stoppers. We'll have more information for you on our website. That's news8000.com. Well, attack ads are common during an election, but a La Crosse race is the exception. The candidates for La Crosse County Sheriff are taking the political high road. News 8 Now's Dua Israr spoke to both candidates who say the sheriff's race is bigger than the letter next to their name.
A passion for service is required for this La Crosse County job. But filling out a job application won't get you far.
Sheriff is a unique position because it is a constitutional position, meaning that it's elected.
When voters head to the polls on November 8th, they will choose between Fritz Leinfelder and John Siegel as the next sheriff of La Crosse County.
They both have a lot of experience. They both are considered pretty evenly handed.
Earlier this year, Sheriff Jeff Wolf announced he would be stepping down after one term. Prior to Wolf, Steve Helgeson held the position for 12 years.
Incumbency means everything in those types of positions.
This is the first time since 2006 that two candidates are running in a general election.
The opportunity to run for sheriff doesn't come very often.
According to Article 6 of the Wisconsin Constitution, sheriffs shall be chosen by the electors of the respective counties during the same time as the governor's race.
Everything on the ballot of a November election is partisan in nature.
Leinfelder is running as a Republican. Siegel is running as a Democrat. Political analyst Joe Heim says none of that matters.
This is the type of position you want to vote for the person, not the party.
Both candidates agree.
If I'm a certain political party and I have a victim of a crime that's a different political party, that we're not going to be able to serve justice for that person. That's ridiculous, and it won't happen that way.
I think that we should represent everybody at the county.
Leinfelder says although political affiliation doesn't matter at the sheriff's level,
it's a system that's been in play. It's worked, and I don't foresee it changing anytime soon.
Siegel says he hopes sheriff's races continue to focus on a person's experience.
Law enforcement should have that higher standard of we serve everyone, we protect everyone, and this sheriff's race should be no different.
Heim says as partisanship trickles down to the local level, the the future of the sheriff's race may look different.
I don't expect it to get partisan in the normal sense of that term. However, I probably could have said that a few years back about other races as well.
Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Esrar, News 8 Now.
Thanks, Dua. The election is 1 week from today, and that's on Tuesday, November 8th. A local organization is helping voters save their rights by endorsing candidates who will be on the ballot on November 8th. This coalition was formed after the city of La Crosse approved an ordinance on conversion therapy bans. This group opposes that. For their first voters guide, which shows voters candidates that they believe will be most likely to honor the U.S. Constitution, they say anyone who is unsure of who to vote for on Election Day should consider their guide.
We encourage all of you voters, independent voters, voters who haven't made up their minds yet, voters who are open-minded to receive this new information, voters in the middle. We are speaking to you. What can you do about it? You can vote.
If you would like more information, including who this group has endorsed on their voters guide, you can visit our website. Again, that is news8000.com. And with the election less than a week away, Governor Tony Evers is on the campaign trail. The Democratic incumbent stopped at UW La Crosse on Tuesday for his Do the Right Thing bus tour. The governor is running against Republican challenger Tim Michels. Evers says if he's reelected, he will work to raise shared revenue. Shared revenue is the portion of tax money the state sends back to districts and townships to pay for things like emergency services and schools.
It's something that's been, frankly, shorted for years and years and years. I put some in my last couple of budgets, and the Republicans zeroed it out. So we'll be looking at least for a 4% increase in both years of the biennium. That will help them dramatically. If you think about it, over the last dozen years, the largest increase they have received is 0.03%.
Some school leaders say inactive shared revenue rates have led to the 81 school referendums on the November ballot. Locally, La Crosse, Onalaska, and Bangor all have school referendums on their ballot. Holmen and Eau Claire also have public safety referendums. Wisconsin incumbent U.S. Senator Ron Johnson also made a campaign stop in the Coulee region on Tuesday. Over the weekend, former President Obama criticized Johnson on Social Security, saying Johnson doesn't care about voters. Johnson has pushed for the program to be moved from mandatory spending to discretionary, meaning it has to be approved in each budget. The Republican says Obama is the deceiver-in-chief, and the rest of the Democrats are liars.
President Obama, what are you so angry about? I mean, you split your time between Martha's Vineyard, the sanctuary city that just couldn't handle, I guess, 50 migrants, and Washington, D.C. And then he comes into Wisconsin and accuses me of being out of touch.
Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, who is running against Johnson, has proposed raising the tax limit on Social Security. Currently, only people earning up to $147,000 are taxed for the program. The Republican candidate for Wisconsin Attorney General says crime victims and their families are waiting far too long for closure. During a campaign stop in Sparta, Eric Toney met with the Monroe County Sheriff and District Attorney. Toney says state resources haven't changed, but under incumbent Democrat Josh Kaul's leadership, it has taken longer for prosecutors to get evidence, like lab results, back in a timely manner. And Toney says that's harmful for everyone involved with the case.
And that's families, victims waiting for justice, a defendant maybe sitting in custody waiting for that evidence for a case to move forward. And we need an attorney general that's not going to give these issues lip service and actually make it a priority.
Attorney General Kaul campaigned on eliminating the state crime lab backlog of sexual assault kits. And according to his campaign, he worked to pass legislation to prevent a future backlog of untested sexual assault kits. The Republican candidate for Minnesota governor says his plan on abortion can create positive changes in the state. Dr. Scott Jensen is running against DFL incumbent Tim Walz. As a pro-life doctor, Jensen says he and running mate Matt Burke can still show that they can be, quote, for women, unquote. Governor Tim Walz says in response there will never be an abortion ban under his watch. Last week he signed executive action declining to honor neighboring state requests to arrest women who came to Minnesota for an abortion. Still ahead on your morning news, feeling lucky? Find out what the Powerball jackpot stands at following yet another empty drawing on Monday night. And an apple orchard is taking on a new but unexpected business in their fields. Coming up after the break. And for now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. With giant kites soaring the skies, a Guatemalan community celebrated its traditional Day of the Dead celebration on Tuesday. The festival was held in the community cemetery for the first time in 2 years due to COVID-19 restrictions. That's something that local residents were grateful for. The tradition of flying kites outside cemeteries in Guatemala dates back over a century. Guatemalans believe the kites are guided by spirits when they come down, and families wait for arrival at home. That's your News 8 Now this morning. We'll be right back.
And that was a clear look there from City Cam 8. Satellite and radar also showing that here for us this morning. It's a pretty warm start as you head out the door, too. In fact, it's 56 now in La Crosse, 53 in Eau Claire, 44, though, in Sparta. Big difference, though, if you're a little bit off towards the east, though. All right, let's take a look now at your zone forecast. I think you'll like what we see today. We'll be well into the mid-70s this afternoon. Very unusual for this time of the year, so go outside and try to enjoy it while you can, because it will be 73 in Soldiers Grove today, too. 74 in Trempealeau, 75 in Black River Falls, 74 today in Arcadia. Highs reaching 73 in Eau Claire. Really the north zones too, between 72 and 73 degrees in general. For your schoolcast this morning, clear skies, 58 degrees, 66 and sunny here for the lunch hour. Lots of sun and 73 degrees for the dismissal hour here later this afternoon. We'll have a look at the full weather forecast in just a bit.
The Powerball jackpot has climbed to $1.2 billion. It comes after no one matched the winning numbers in Monday night's drawing. The next Powerball drawing is tonight. If someone is lucky enough to get the winning numbers, it will be the second biggest jackpot in Powerball history and the fourth biggest in U.S. lottery history. While the number of available jobs in the U.S. increased in September, the news surprised economists who expected the total to fall during the Federal Reserve's aggressive action to combat inflation. The government reports job openings totaled 10.7 million, compared to 10.3 million in August. Economists had projected that job openings would drop to 10 million in September. While if a recession is coming, it doesn't seem to be affecting Uber. The company reported over $8 billion in revenue for the third quarter, a 72% increase over the previous year. Despite inflation, demand for rides and meal delivery remains strong. Uber credits cities reopening and travel booming post-pandemic, plus consumers spending more on services versus retail. A century-old apple orchard in upstate New York that offers plenty of reasons to visit this fall is taking on a new business, one you might not expect. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette has the story.
Can you get it? Good job. The Ford family recently went apple picking on a sunny Saturday afternoon at Beacon Skiff Orchards in Lafayette, New York. Perfect. Right before the peak of leaf peeping season.
I actually came out for my daughter. She's 2, and it's really nice out today, and I thought it would be a perfect day to go before it started getting cold out.
There are a couple of Airbnbs on property for weekend getaways, a distillery where all those apples are transformed into spirits, including vodka, gin, and hard cider. And plenty of areas to taste test all of them. The orchard has been in the Beacon Skiff family since 1911. But now President Eddie Brennan is taking a bite out of a very different business, cannabis.
For us, diversifying outside of apples was really important, and we felt like we could implement vertical integration similar to what we've done with the apple business.
The farm can only grow 1 acre of cannabis under the current law, but that's expected to change when New York State revises its restrictions. Right now, only CBD products manufactured from the cannabis are legal. Beacon Skiff is making oils, balms, even CBD-flavored seltzer water. CBD is big business and only growing higher. Vantage Market Research estimates market growth will increase from nearly $5 billion last year to $47 billion in 2028. Not everyone in the community supports Brennan's new venture, and he's been hearing about it.
Anything from, oh, you're a drug dealer, or why would you do this, or I'm not going to come to Beacon Skiff anymore. And for us, it's all about coming back with a positive response.
Brennan tells customers small doses of cannabis have helped him minimize anxiety and improve sleep. He hopes marijuana will eventually boost the appeal of a visit to Beacon Skiff, just like alcohol. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Lafayette, New York.
Marijuana for recreational use has been legalized in 19 states and Washington, D.C. It is also on midterm ballots in 5 states.
.56 degrees and clear skies now in La Crosse. A south wind at 11 miles an hour. It feels a little cooler though downtown at 54 degrees. 4.93 feet is the current river stage. Yesterday's high temperature in La Crosse, pretty warm, 74 degrees. The average high, keep in mind, is 54. The record yesterday was 80, but I think we'll have a better chance of matching or possibly even breaking that record today because it will be the same temperature as yesterday at 74. Not only will that be above average, but our record high today, keep in mind, is 75 degrees. So that's why we say it's pretty close, maybe tied or break it. We'll keep that and we'll watch what happens here for today. But Eau Claire is at 53, clear skies, south winds at around 7 miles an hour. Sparta, you're currently at 44, Black River Falls at 34, Viroqua's at 50, and Winona is currently at 55 degrees. We're looking clear here through much of the morning. 66 and sunny here by noon today. Very warm, partly cloudy, 73 degrees by 5, and then we're turning mostly cloudy by this evening, 63 by 9 o'clock. With the forecast highs today, yeah, it's going to be very warm into the mid-70s with highs reaching 73 in Eau Claire, 75 in Black River Falls, 75 today if you're in Sparta. And we got clear skies here all across the Coulee region along with that constant south wind that we've been talking about all week long. And as long as that south wind is in place, conditions will stay warm around here. We are expecting highs to continue to be into the 70s through Thursday, but then you'll notice a drop down in temperatures. We'll be into the 50s Friday and Saturday, a brief warm up Sunday, then we're back in the 50s again as we enter next week. And again, that south wind here throughout the day will hold on to us as well. A few clouds may move in as we head into this evening and tonight, and then after that we look to clear out as we head into early tomorrow before the clouds start to increase out ahead of this cold front back towards the west that will be making its way east across the area to help increase the cloud cover and shower activity as well. And in fact, as it continues to move our way, we expect increasing moisture out ahead of the system too to bring us not just cloud cover but rain showers and also some cool air behind the system. And that's why we're thinking by the end of the week we could be entering a bit of a wet and cool pattern here by Friday and Saturday with good rain chances there as well. Sunday we're a little bit mild, 60 degrees, so a brief warm up there before we cool down again Monday and also into mid next week as well with another good chance of rain possibly on the way for us on Wednesday, so something to keep in mind there. Low temperatures mainly into the 40s and 50s. Stay with us though, much more news and weather is still to come right here on News 8 Now this morning, but for now we're sending you to break with a look at what happened on this day in history. We'll be right back. Well, conditions are looking quiet here across the Coulee region with a clean sweep here on the satellite and radar picture as well. Current temperatures as you head out the door, 40s and 50s. Very warm in La Crosse at 56, Winona 54, Eau Claire is at 53, Sparta's at 44 though, so a little bit cooler in some spots back towards the eastern parts of Monroe and Jackson County. But for your dog walking conditions this morning, things are looking clear. Lots of sunshine for the afternoon and also very warm here today too. Partly cloudy as we head into the early evening hours though. Coming up in just a bit, we'll talk about your commute forecast. That's next in weather.
Officially passed yesterday, and usually there's a few deals here and there, nothing too crazy, but yesterday felt like an NBA or an MLB deadline, and the Packers, they were quiet while the rest of the division was making moves. Over in Minnesota, they were going after a new tight end after the news of Irv Smith Jr. being out and going to the IR. But TJ Hawkinson is now a Viking after Minnesota sent a 2023 second-round pick and 2024 third-round pick to Detroit. Minnesota also getting a fourth-round pick in return. But this is big news for the Vikings. Hawkinson has been one of the best tight ends in the league since being drafted in 2019. He won the Mackey Award for Best College Tight End in 2018. Not only is he a threat in the passing game, he's one of the best blocking tight ends as well to help with their run game. A huge get for the 6-1 Minnesota Vikings. And after trading away Roquan Smith yesterday, the Bears were making moves again today, this time getting another weapon for their young QB. They got Chase Claypool from the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for a 2023 second-round pick. Claypool was originally a second-round pick in 2020 and had 9 touchdowns his rookie year. He's had just 3 touchdowns since, but the Bears will hope to unlock his potential now that he's on a new team. Not sure this is going to help him a ton this year, but Chicago is definitely building for a bright future. One thing Green Bay did do yesterday, they announced that former Packers Jordy Nelson and Josh Sitton will be inducted into the Packers Hall of Fame in 2023. It's the franchise's 52nd Hall of Fame induction. Jordy Nelson was selected by the Packers in the second round of the 2008 draft, and for 9 seasons, he wore the Packers colors just as well as anyone. He ranks 4th in team history for receptions. He's number 6 in receiving yards and number 3 in touchdown receptions, and of course, helping the Packers win a Super Bowl with 9 catches for 140 yards and a touchdown. Josh Sitton was a 4th-round pick in that same draft. He played 8 seasons on the offensive line for Green Bay, starting in 112 of 121 regular season games. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, and a key part of the offensive line every year. The official banquet for that will be next August. Now that's all for the Morning Blitz. We'll be right back.
It is 6:31 this morning, and breaking overnight, 5 lions escaped a zoo enclosure in Australia early this morning. It happened at the Taronga Zoo in Sydney. Zoo officials say an adult lion and 4 cubs escaped after they broke through a fence. They were found in an area next to the main lion exhibit, where a 6-foot fence separated them from the rest of the zoo. The area where they escaped has been blocked off, and the lions are being closely monitored. No guests or staff were injured. Parts of Europe have just experienced the warmest October in weather history, according to the World Meteorological Association. France, Switzerland, Austria, and Germany all experienced record warm temperatures in October. France had an average temperature of 63 degrees, which is 6 degrees above the typical average during the month of October. Voters in Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district won't hear from their candidates on a debate stage. People will have to learn about them on their own. News 8 Now's Jordan Fremstad explains why one candidate chose to stay silent.
'Tis the season.
We saved our pitchforks for lifting hay.
A familiar cadence echoes over the airwaves.
He never had a job outside of politics.
Election attack ads inundate our lives.
What the path?
It's kind of interesting.
I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
You have to take each one with a grain of salt.
Seriously? What the path?
They pronounced my name right. I give them credit for that.
Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district became an open seat after Ron Kine called it a career.
We have a broken political system today.
After 25 years.
What's going on in Washington makes a big difference.
Candidates normally take their platform to a professional environment where journalists get to ask them real questions. It gives people an authentic perspective of the people who might represent them in their district. However, one of those candidates won't debate.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Republican candidate Derek Van Orden declined Democrat Brad Pfaff's challenge to a debate.
Candidates don't always want everybody to know exactly where they stand on issues.
Van Orden also turned down a candidate interview with Leader Ethics.
Really pleased to introduce Brad Pfaff.
4 or 5 times they tried to contact Van Orden, never got a response.
Political analyst Joe Heim would know. He serves on the board. Van Orden's sizable lead in likely voter polls, Heim says, could explain Van Orden's silence.
And if your candidate is well ahead, why gamble and do a debate?
Nationwide, candidates of both parties are pulling away from the traditional debate platform. In this year's top 5 Senate races, there's been only 6 debates, compared to 17 in 2010. Republican Carrie Lake, running for governor in Arizona, is blasting her Democratic opponent for doing the same.
I would love it if she would show up because I think there's a lot of important issues that the people of Arizona need to hear about.
However, Van Orden's social media offers plenty of words.
Or it might be the 9.1% inflation.
He holds town hall events where his supporters ask the questions.
Federal government needs to be cheerleaders for the police department.
They may or may not ask the right questions, to be blunt.
This leaves out other issues.
I wasn't part of an armed insurrection on January 6th.
And you'd like to hear it from the person's mouth exactly how they explain it.
Heim would like to know more about Pfaff's life.
I'd like to know a little bit more about his background before he entered politics.
Just like a job interview.
They had to share kind of a vision of how they see themselves in the role that they're applying for.
Voters will have to rely on their own knowledge.
They're the losers. That's the sad part of it. We don't know enough about the candidates without having things like debates.
How can voters trust their representation in Washington?
You are not a dictator. You're one of 535 people.
When half of their neighbors' questions are ignored.
I think debates provide a service for people.
Van Orden's campaign has said they would do a town hall style of event, but nothing has been organized. We reached out to his campaign multiple times, but he did not respond to our request for an interview. Now, since there won't be a debate, we will include information about both candidates that you can read about and check out before you head to the polls on Election Day next Tuesday. In La Crosse, I'm Jordan Fremstead, News 8 Now.
Thanks, Jordan. All very important information. Heim says voters will have to seek out information about the candidates, and he recommends reading up on those candidates as much as possible before voting on Tuesday. You can watch the results come in on air, online, and our social media sites. Just check out news8000.com. A La Crosse apartment building is now home to a new pilot program aimed at saving energy. CooleyCap teamed up with the Wisconsin Department of Administration, Division of Energy, Housing, and Community Resources to install solar panels and heat pumps. Heat pumps can heat and cool a well-winterized home with better efficiency than traditional air conditioning units and furnaces. The goal is to reduce the amount of money being spent on energy costs.
Just think about the low-income community and what they're earning. A very large portion of that is going for their energy needs, and so they want to make sure that we want to make sure that we're reducing that energy burden by offering these opportunities.
The program is expected to save tenants about $1,000 a year and save the State Energy Assistance Program roughly $3,400 a year. Working together to help make students' futures a little easier. On Tuesday, officials at Western Technical College and the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse signed multiple transfer agreements, which are beneficial for both UWL and Western. Transferring between colleges can be stressful because some credits may not transfer. Western Technical College's president says these agreements will make it easier for students to keep credits that they worked so hard for.
You can take a class and then hope it transfers, or you can work with advisors and work with professionals that help you in the front end, and then you take a class and you know that it transfers. What we've organized here is transfers that are guaranteed to bring 60 credits.
Once students complete their Associate of Arts degree at Western, they can be admitted to UWL's psychology, business, and exercise and sports science programs. Grant applications are open for Wisconsinites needing help with their wells. The state is putting $10 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds toward a well compensation and abandonment program. This money is only for residents. Landowners can use the money for replacing, reconstructing, treating, or abandoning wells. According to the Secretary of the DNR, there are roughly 800,000 wells in the state, and says many are in bad shape.
And we know that families, specifically young families or senior citizens that live with wells that are crumbling, that they don't have ready access to capital to put their well in good condition.
The DNR has application forms online. We'll post a link on our website. An upcoming music festival is bringing world-renowned musicians to our area. UWL will host its annual New Music Festival for the next 3 days, and that's starting today at 7:30. You'll get a chance to hear music from UWL student ensembles, and Thursday, UWL faculty and guests will perform selections from living composers. Then coming up on Friday, Grammy Award-winning soprano Sarah Braley and chamber musician and cellist Caleb Vanderswag will be featured. All concerts are free, and they're open to the public at the Lowe Center for the Arts. And the beautiful music doesn't stop there. The La Crosse Chamber Chorale is about to kick off their 37th concert season. Choir members from college age to age 60 will sing music that reflects the beauty of nature. The choir's artistic director says that the theme allows for a broad spectrum of songs.
So we'll have songs about, anywhere from crickets to birds chirping, but also about surviving storms and the trees everywhere. And so, we have some music that's all the way written back in the Renaissance in the 1400s, but then we have music that was as contemporary as written about 5 years ago. So a huge variety of choral music.
You'll get a chance to come to the woods and hear the Chamber Choir's first performances this weekend. We have posted more information for you at news8000.com. And you may remember that the 17th annual Steppin' Out in Pink fundraising walk was unfortunately canceled because of rainy weather. Although their event didn't go as planned, Steppin' Out in Pink still met its goal of raising $350,000 to support breast cancer research and patients. That goal was met with the help of the 4,000 people who participated and 350 volunteers. And you can still support this year's event. You can find more information on how you can help out on our website. That is news8000.com.
Skies are looking clear this morning, and overall it's a very quiet start as well, with temperatures on the mild side. It's actually 44 in Sparta, 34 degrees though in Black River Falls, but the 50s basically central and west towards the Mississippi is where we're seeing some of those warmer temperatures. But for today, everyone pretty warm, 74 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and south-southeast winds, slightly breezy as well, 10 to 20 miles an hour. For tonight, 56 degrees, mostly cloudy, and overall still very mild for this time of year. South winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour still as well. For your DriveCast this morning, things are looking good. Sunny skies and warm and sunny conditions for the lunch hour, and then turning partly cloudy, but still staying on the quiet side as we wrap things up as we head into your evening commute as well. Stay tuned for a final check on the full weather forecast. That's coming up next in weather. Emily?
All right, thanks, Derek. Yet another music artist is dead as a result of gun violence early Tuesday morning. We'll have more on that coming up on our Buzz Report. We'll be right back.
56 degrees and clear skies are the current conditions in La Crosse. A bit cooler here downtown at 54 degrees. South winds, though, at around 11 miles an hour. Yesterday's high temperature was very warm. It got up to 74 degrees, keeping us well above that average high of 54. The record was 80 degrees. Didn't quite hit that, but for today, our high will be 74. Why is that important even though it's similar to yesterday? It's because the record high is 75. So we're going to be very close to that record high temperature for today. And we'll get to more on that here in just a second. But for Eau Claire, you're currently looking at 53 degrees and clear skies. Winds are currently out of the south here as well, around 7 miles an hour. Current conditions as you head out the door, well, it's 44 degrees in Sparta, a little cool there. 56 though in Volkfield, so warmer there. Black River Falls, much cooler at 34 degrees for you. 52 degrees is the temperature now in Winona. Let's get checked now on your daycast. 66 mild and sunny conditions by noon today. Very warm by 5, 73 and partly cloudy, and then turning mostly cloudy, 63 degrees by early this evening at around 9 o'clock. Check out the high temperatures today. It's going to be well into those low to mid 70s. So it's not just La Crosse. It's pretty much everyone in the Coulee region that will be looking abnormally warm for this time of the year. Everything is looking quiet on the satellite and radar picture. We have a south wind that we're working with here. The south wind is what we've been talking about all week long, and that continues. And as long as that is in place, it will continue to remain very warm across the Coulee region with highs in the 70s through at least Thursday. But then if you notice, Friday and Saturday, we start getting cool around here. A brief warm up on Sunday, and then we're back in the 50s again as we head into the mid to early to mid part of next week. So for today, again, that south wind with mainly sunny skies. We may see a few clouds, though, roll in, especially as we head into the early evening. Then those clouds will clear out. South winds continue tonight to help keep us warm. For tomorrow, expect some increase in clouds, and that's because we're out ahead of a low pressure system containing a cold front, and that's going to move in to help increase our moisture content across the area and also give us some showers potentially to work with starting Thursday night. And then as we head into Friday, we will continue to see increasing moisture out ahead of this front moving in, and that's going to give us a more of a wet pattern and also cool pattern at the same time to work with as we close this week and as we get ready to enter the weekend as well. In fact, we're going to be looking at some pretty good rain chances here for Friday and Saturday. And again, at the same time, our temperatures will also cool down as that front moves through. So a brief warm up on Sunday with a high of 60, and then we're back in the 50s as we head into next week with mainly cloudy and somewhat rainy conditions, especially as we head into Tuesday and perhaps Wednesday as well of next week.
One-third of the rap trio Migos is dead. Rapper Takeoff was confirmed dead early Tuesday morning by Houston police. Officers arrived at a bowling alley where the shooting took place and confirmed Takeoff dead at the scene. Employees told police an argument was involved, which led to the shooting. His uncle Quavo, who is also a Migos member, was with Takeoff, but he is not injured. The rapper passes away at 28 years old. Actress Lupita Nyong'o is set to star in A Quiet Place Day One. Not much is known about the plot, but the film is a spin-off to A Quiet Place franchise. The news comes as Nyong'o's most recent project, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, is planned to hit theaters next week. A Quiet Place Day One isn't expected in theaters, though, until March of 2024. Well, I was talking about this earlier, but I'm very excited about this news. If you're a fan of Taylor Swift like me, you're in luck. The singer announced her Eras Tour, which will kick off in Arizona March 18th. Swift says the performance will be a journey through the musical eras of her career, both past and present. Swift has been breaking chart records with her recently released Midnights album. She's the first artist to claim all top 10 spots on the Billboard Hot 100 list at once. So tickets for the Eras Tour go on sale November 15th, and there's a close date to us. It's in June. It's in Minneapolis, if you're wondering. We are heading to break now with today's Look Who's 8. Take it away, Derek.
I was going to say, if you have any questions, Emily Haugen's got you covered when it comes to Taylor Swift. She's a big fan.
No, I can tell you anything. Me and Dua.
Exactly.
Okay, go for it.
All right, so we got some birthdays here, Emily. We want to wish a happy 8 months to Isaiah. He is a very happy, energetic baby boy. Happy birthday, Isaiah.
And happy 8th birthday to Jensen. He's a sweet, caring, and adventurous little boy. Happy birthday.
Happy 80 years young to Caroline. And she loves to play cards, antiquing, and gardening.
Well, if you know a special someone who's turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80 years old, or 88 years old soon, we would love to feature them.
Yeah, just upload their photo to our website. It's news8000.com, and you want to look for the Submit Pictures button. That's under the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything that you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your morning news now is up next. Well, with winter on the way, many municipalities have begun alternate side parking, so we'll have a rundown for you of the rules. Listen closely. All vehicles have to be parked on even-numbered sides of streets and on even-numbered calendar days. Odd-numbered sides of streets on nights with odd-numbered calendar days. Parking hours will differ depending on your location. In La Crosse, there are new rules for winter parking. There's no longer a November to March rule, so alternate side parking will only be in effect when it snows more than 3 inches. The emergency declaration stays in effect for 48 hours after a snowfall. Winona and Onalaska's rules don't go into effect until November 15th. That was a lot of information, but don't worry, we have a full rundown of the rules at our website, and that is news8000.com. And your morning news now. A La Crosse apartment building is now home to a new pilot program aimed at saving energy. Coulee Cap teamed up with the Wisconsin Department of Administration Division of Energy, Housing, and Community Resources to install solar panels and heat pumps. Heat pumps can heat and cool a well-winterized home with better efficiency than traditional air conditioning units and furnaces. The goal is to reduce the amount of money being spent on energy costs.
Just think about the low-income community and what they're earning. A very large portion of that is going for their energy needs, and so they want to make sure that we want to make sure that we're reducing that energy burden by offering them these opportunities.
The program is expected to save tenants about $1,000 a year and save the state energy assistance program roughly $3,400 a year.
Conditions are looking quiet now in La Crosse with current temperatures mainly into the 50s. Looking at plenty of sunshine here throughout the rest of the morning, and also temperatures warming up into the 70s come later this afternoon under mostly sunny skies.
And grant applications are open for Wisconsinites needing help with their wells. The state is putting $10 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds toward a well compensation and abandonment program. This money is only for residents, so landowners can use the money for replacing, reconstructing, treating, or abandoning wells. According to the Secretary of the DNR, there are roughly 800,000 wells in the state. And an upcoming music festival is bringing world-renowned musicians to our area. UWL will host its annual New Music Festival for the next 3 days. Starting today at 7:30, you'll get a chance to hear music from UWL student ensembles. And Thursday, UWL faculty and guests will perform selections from living composers. On Friday, Grammy Award-winning soprano Sarah Braley and chamber musician and cellist Caleb Vanderswag will be featured. All of those concerts are free, and they're open to the public at the Lowe Center for the Arts.
And as you head out the door this morning, 53 and sunny, 66 at noon today with plenty of sun. Conditions will remain pretty much that way throughout the day today, maybe a few clouds later on. High today of about 74 degrees and overall a much warmer day. South-southeast winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Emily, can you believe that we may actually break record high temperatures today? It's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's November.
I know, it's November. It's amazing what a south wind will do ahead of a storm system coming.
I think it feels like, I was saying earlier, it feels kind of like illegal that it's this warm. Like,
hey, but like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, Florida man.
You know what I mean? So I'll take it, and I gotta enjoy it while I can.
Yeah,
so.
I don't blame you. I'm the kind of person who does not put the coat on until I absolutely have to. So this
Makes
is another
sense.
excuse for me to do that.
Exactly,
You know?
makes sense.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We'll have the latest updates on today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a great day.